Look like Cathy Engelbert is in some serious trouble after Caitlin Clark's brother went on live and called out her league referees.
A league on the brink of greatness is now teetering on the edge of a self-inflicted disaster. The Women's National Basketball Association, the WNBA, is currently engulfed in a 5-alarm fire of controversy, and the entire world has a front row seat. Its generational superstar, the player single-handedly responsible for its explosion in popularity, Caitlin Clark, has been forced to withdraw from the All-Star game. But this isn't a simple story of an unfortunate injury. This is a story of negligence, of silence, and of a system that is now being publicly exposed. The catalyst was a raw, unfiltered live stream from her brother, Colin, who just ripped the league's most glaring issue wide open for everyone to see.
Sports media, particularly one with the kind of ideology behind it as the Washington Post, this is a sports media outlet that is certainly going to be more in line with the old WNBA fandom, which, when this kind of article drops, should worry Cathy Engelbert.
Now, as the league office scrambles in what appears to be a state of paralysis, major media outlets are launching their own brutal attacks. And at the very center of this swirling vortex of chaos is Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, whose deafening silence and perceived disconnect have left fans, players, and pundits asking one terrifying question: is anyone actually flying this plane, or is it in a nosedive?
I am here to tell you guys, it is not looking good for WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. Now, we know Cathy has seemingly found herself in Charlotte well a few times this season. Last year, it was her talking about they need the drama to get the league big. This year is her lack of no response to the WNBA referees, man. I mean, she's been completely silent on the matter. You didn't have head coaches, you didn't have players. Now you have had the biggest star in the league brother go on live and call out.
The moment that lit the fuse on this powder keg occurred during what should have been just another regular season game against the Connecticut Sun. But just 38 seconds, less than a minute after the opening tip-off, the game's narrative was violently rewritten. In a move that had little to do with basketball and everything to do with intimidation, the Suns' Dejanai Carrington drove her knee directly into Caitlin Clark's abdomen. It was a cheap, jarring, and dangerous play. Clark stumbled back, visibly shaken. The crowd gasped. The commentators were stunned. And the three officials paid to enforce the rules and protect the players, they did absolutely nothing. No whistle, no foul call. They looked on with a placid indifference, as if they were observing a force of nature they were powerless to stop. This wasn't just a missed call, it was a statement. It was a green light for every other player in the league that the rules, at least when it comes to Caitlin Clark, are merely suggestions. For months, fans had watched her endure a relentless campaign of physical abuse, but this brazen act, combined with the referee
and Caitlin is
watching from afar, her brother Colin Clark had finally seen enough. He wasn't a team executive or a league official bound by corporate niceties. He was a family member watching his sister get assaulted on national television with no protection. So he did what any of us would do. He got angry, but unlike most of us, he had a platform. He fired up a live stream, looked directly into the camera, and unleashed a torrent of pure, unadulterated frustration that instantly became a viral sensation. His words were simple, but they carried the the weight of an entire season of injustice. Fix your reffing, WNBA. It's bad though. In that one sentence, he articulated the rage of millions. It wasn't a polished press release. It was a raw, primal scream that cut through all the PR spin and corporate jargon. He held the league accountable in a way no one else had dared to, and in doing so, he became the unlikely hero of a story the WNBA desperately wanted to keep hidden.
Follow my Instagram, something. That's it. That's all I gotta say. Fix your repping WNBA. It's bad though. Call down the WNBA repping.
Hey, you the man. Hey, follow my boy. You know what the fuck going on?
Collins' rant wasn't a lone voice crying out in the wilderness. It was the tremor before the earthquake. It legitimized the anger that had been simmering just beneath the surface, and it gave the mainstream media the green light to finally go on the attack. And attack they did. The Washington Post, a legacy publication that has traditionally acted as a staunch defender and ally of the WNBA, dropped an article that can only be described as a journalistic carpet bombing. They didn't just criticize the officiating, they eviscerated it, calling it a literal threat to the game. The piece was dripping with sarcasm and scorn, brutally suggesting that the WNBA should update its iconic logo. Forget the silhouette of a woman rising for a shot, they argued. A more accurate logo would be a picture of Caitlin Clark's bruised arm or leg. They didn't stop there. They proposed a new league motto, no call. When one of your oldest and most powerful media allies begins to openly mock you, you are no longer dealing with a PR problem. You are dealing with a full-blown mutiny.
The man literally said, "Fix your reffing, WNBA. It's bad though." And you know what?
So where
He's
was the
not wrong.
commander of this ship as it sailed directly into a hurricane? Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, the woman paid millions to lead and protect the league, has been missing in action. As players get injured, as families go on viral rants, and as the media unleashes a barrage of criticism, Engelbert's response has been a stunning, profound silence. This isn't the quiet confidence of a leader working behind the scenes. This feels like a complete abdication of responsibility. Her silence is made all the more infuriating by a recent interview where she seemed far more animated and passionate about her expensive Valentino shoes than the welfare of her players. The image of her celebrating high fashion while her league descends into a gladiatorial spectacle paints a damning portrait of a leader who is catastrophically out of touch. She seems more concerned with the view from her corporate skybox than with the blood and sweat being spilled on the court below.
It's so frustrating what they allow to happen to Caitlin Clark. I mean, this is cumulative. This is going to keep happening. This game alone, the amount of physical abuse that this girl's getting just hit with again and again and again.
This isn't just about one missed call or one player. Caitlin Clark is simply the most high-profile victim of a systemic disease that has infected the entire league. The statistics are staggering and speak to a crisis of player safety. Since opening day, there have been a mind-boggling 141 injuries in a league that has only 179 active players. Do the math. Your odds of getting hurt aren't a risk, they are practically a guarantee. Even more disturbing is the nature of these injuries. 57 of them over the past 2.5 seasons have been to the head and neck. These aren't minor sprains. This is the kind of damage that ends careers and alters lives. The frustration has boiled over. Stars like Kelsey Plum have gone on camera, pointing to the fresh scratches and bruises on her arms while dropping F-bombs out of sheer desperation. On a national ESPN broadcast, the situation became so absurd that respected analyst and former player Rebecca Lobo started calling out the obvious fouls herself in real time, essentially
because one of the institutions that's used to taking care of the league and sheltering the league and worshiping the league's sensibilities, you've lost them.
The timing of this implosion is drenched in a tragic irony. The WNBA is in the middle of a golden age it has dreamed of for decades. It just signed a massive new media deal. Viewership is shattering records. Arenas are selling out. Merchandise is flying off the shelves. And nearly all of this unprecedented success can be traced back to one person, Caitlin Clark. She was the golden goose, and the league is letting her get beaten in the henhouse. The most damning piece of evidence comes from the commissioner's own mouth. Last year, Cathy Engelbert was quoted as saying, "No league is ever about one player," adding that the focus shouldn't be on one person because that player could get hurt. It was a statement meant to sound wise and forward-thinking. Instead, it has aged into a horrifying self-fulfilling prophecy. She didn't just predict the problem, she is now being accused of overseeing the very conditions that made it a reality. She has fumbled the greatest opportunity in the league's history.
Basically lit the entire WNBA on fire with words.
Outlets that have normally shielded the WNBA from, people with common sense, right? Normally, this kind of outlet is ones that love to refer to fans as being toxic or the new fandom, yada, 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 right? They're normally coming after the new fans to this league, not new fans to sports. But they are not in this case. In this case, they're calling out the WNBA and Cathy Engelbert. Why? Because of the officiating.
The ripple effects of this failure are already spreading, and they threaten to wash away all the progress the league has made. Think about the sponsors who have poured millions into the WNBA. Companies like Nike, Google, and State Farm signed up to be associated with empowerment and elite female athletes, not a league that is gaining a reputation for enabling on-court violence. How long before their marketing departments decide the brand risk is too high? And what about the millions of new casual fans? They tuned in to watch the transcendent offensive artistry of Caitlin Clark. They came to see a basketball revolution. Instead, they're getting a nightly lesson in how to commit a foul without being penalized. These fans have no long-term loyalty. Their patience is thin, and they will change the channel the moment they feel the product is a sham. Colin Clark's rant did more than just go viral. It broke a seal of silence. Reports are now surfacing that other players' families, seeing that their voices can have an impact, are beginning to speak.
The officiating and the amount of contact that's allowed on the perimeter has been a topic of conversation. It was brought up on the ESPN broadcast. It's been a gripe from you, from Becky Hammond, from Stephanie White. What do you see as the biggest issue there and how it could be resolved?
I'm grateful you asked this. I have no problem with the physicality. I think people are getting frustrated at the consistency. So it's like a ticky-tack here, and then someone gets absolutely assaulted over here. And where's the line? And when do we call it? And why do we call it? And I also think too, a lot of teams specifically play me very physical, which I get, just to try to wear me down throughout the game. But a foul is a foul. So a foul in the first quarter is a foul in the fourth quarter. And so it's hey, if you're not going to call it in the first, that's fine, but don't call it in the fourth. Or let me guard them that way that they guard me. And so I think that just the officiating across the board, people have been frustrated with the lack of.
We are now standing at a critical crossroads for the future of the WNBA. The league is trapped in a perfect storm. Its biggest star is on the sidelines. Her family is leading a public charge against the officiating. The media has turned from an ally into an aggressor, and the commissioner is nowhere to be found. Every single game that Caitlin Clark misses is another blow to the league's credibility and another dent in its bottom line. This should be the WNBA's victory lap, a triumphant celebration of reaching the mainstream. Instead, it's an embarrassing, self-inflicted wound that gets deeper by the day. The question is no longer if something needs to change, but what and who. Is this the moment that forces a complete overhaul of the league's officiating and its player safety protocols? Or is this the scandal that will ultimately cost Cathy Engelbert her job? The soul of the league hangs in the balance. Let me know what you think needs to happen in the comments below.
I noticed when you're asking about Caitlin a lot, you bring up other rookies as well.
No league's ever about one player. That player could get hurt or whatever. So I think it's just to give recognition that in sports, people watch for compelling content and rivalry.
Hear from Cathy. I am sick of this, bro. You need to come up with a systematic plan to fix this damn refereeing. I mean, it is getting so bad to the point now that Caitlin Clark has missed an appearance for the damn All-Star game. And I'm telling you right now, y'all ain't doing nothing but hurting yourself.